Peace, 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 peace. We always like to set the atmosphere before we dig into this teaching, before we dig into this science. We got a lot to illuminate today. So we're going to jump into this teaching. Just let that play for a minute. We're going to illuminate some spookism today. Let's just meditate for a minute. Peace, 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 peace. We always like to set the atmosphere. Peace, 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 peace. We're going to dive into it. Just give me 1 second, family. We're going to get into this teaching. Let that play for a second. There we go. It's up there. Peace, 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 peace. Peace, everybody. Just like to always set the atmosphere and let some positive vibrations hit the atmosphere, because that's what we all about. Positive vibrations, I hope. But today I was gonna go over some brothers, like I always say, it's a lot of misconceptions about this Moorish science and confusing it with a religion. And I always have to reiterate the same thing over and over, because that's what we're supposed to do. We shouldn't be upset or mad to repeat the same thing over and over, because brothers and sisters want to know for sure. So that's why I'm here. So I'm going to say some of the same things over and over to get you to understand some things so we can move together. That's what I'm here for. I'm not all knowing. I'm just a vessel, a teacher. And I want all of us to come up together. And we have to be willing to be taught, especially by our brother. My dad was telling me a story when he was in college. One of his Jewish professors, a European Jew, was like, man, our nationality are the only ones that complain about someone else teaching our children and won't do nothing about it. Same thing happened to me when I was doing my master's. So what I'm telling my brothers and sisters, it's not about me. I'm here to build. I had a temple in Arizona out here for 2 years. Nobody donated. Me and my family paid for it. I teach real history. I don't have any fake degrees. I teach real civics. I teach real nationality. And that's what this Moorish science is all about. So today, I'm going to be highlighting some history. It's setting the record straight. American History in Black and White by David Barton. And a lot of brothers, I said, we don't have to go outside ourselves for scholarship. They were saying, yeah, I saw Alan Beck do that. And I said, brothers, I did this lecture on a college campus 2 years ago. And all my lectures be packed. No brothers, no sisters per se be there. No Moors be there. Other nationalities be there, and they be packed. I promise you, when I say packed, packed. One of my professors was like, man, your people don't be at your lectures like this? And I'm like, no, so that's why I navigate how I must. But I'm gonna highlight on that. I was gonna highlight on the House of Ali, the mysticism, the Egyptian adapt, prophet and angel. But I'm a highlight on that another day, because this is very important, because I do what's asked of me. And a lot of brethren was asking me, so I'm gonna touch on that. And the other thing I'm gonna touch on is, I keep telling my brothers, to be a complete free person, you must have nationality and spirituality. It's the law. I'm going to touch on the law of freedom and bondage in the United States by John C. Hurd. I mean, do brothers be, when I be dropping books and history, things from the Library of Congress, I tell brothers, you don't have to listen to me. You should always research the researcher. I have brothers at my temple was talking about some filling out papers, talk about some do not detain list, filling stuff in, getting audited. I'm laughing. That's not what this moral science is about, family. You must know your rights. This is the law of freedom and bondage in the United States. Being a Moor don't make you get out of jail free card. Some more telling you to drive without license, and that's your right. See if they drive without license. Because everyone I know, they work jobs. You see what I'm saying? All fronting. Talking about all spookism. For real, man. We're supposed to be talking about science and bringing each other up, bringing our families up, building an organized nation. But this is the law of freedom and bondage in the United States. Don't you remember when Barack Obama said you have a right to a nationality and a right to change it? That's the Declaration of Rights of the Child. That's one of the laws in 1959. I want you to look this up. I want you to look this up. Don't listen to me because I'm lecturing on something else today. But you research these. You can research them in the Library of Congress or in the book. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I want you to research that. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. I want you to read that, family. Article 15. You have the right of a nationality and a right to change it. I'm telling you, that's the first step. That's the first step. But, like I tell brethren, when we do things and we do things the right way, we take it to a whole nother level. You want to be, when brothers say they Moors, it's not just wearing a fez, it's a lifestyle. You should want to have your cars to be part of your group. But then, my brothers and sisters, I tell you, it's a whole nother level. And that's the level when you claim your nationality with the United Nations. The naturalization hotline. I'm telling you, family, this is the next level I'm talking about, where it replaces your birth certificate. And hey, like I tell people, you ain't got to listen to me. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality, nor denied the right to change his nationality. The proof of life and proof of claim of children certificate replaces the birth certificate. You research that yourself. You research, call the naturalization hotline for assistance. 408-638-0968. And just like anything when you're dealing with the government, they're going to tell you, they're going to snap on you. They're going to be like, do you know how to follow the footsteps? Do you know how to read? I'm telling you, you can research that for yourself, family. Look it up. You don't got to listen to me. You don't have to listen to nobody. You know, you can research things for yourself. There's no such thing as no black law. There's no such thing as no Moor law. It is a such thing as indigenous people law and policy. I promise you. That's what my doctoral degree I'm pursuing. So we have to get things right. Indigenous people law and policy. I promise you. So let's get into this. Allah, which is all law. Arm, leg, arm, head, manifestation. Yahweh, YHWH, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. And I always like to add on my peace, health, and wealth, because I'm manifestation. I'm a human being, and I master myself. Allah, which is all law, is my protector. Yahweh is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by day and by night. Through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. See, brothers and sisters, we got to get some things right when we be talking about things and when you let brothers and sisters get you in spookism. When I talk about this Moorish science. See, I'm going to share everything with you for we don't get things twisted. I'm going to read this to you. This is your nationality and identification card for the Moorish Science Temple of America and birthrights for the Moorish Americans, etc. We honor all divine prophets. Listen to me, family. Jesus, but I always use the holy names, which is Yeshua, because it never was a J in the Hebrew alphabet then. Muhammad, and he is now. Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. May the blessings of the God, our Father, Allah, be upon you that carry this card. I do hereby declare that you are a Muslim, Moslem, under the divine laws of the Holy Quran of Mecca. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. I'm going to show you two things, family. So we don't get things. I had to go in my library because I have a library at home. So Let's finish diving into science, family. Like when I talk about alphabets and things, this is the Biblia, which is a Bible. It's in a different, and it's in the Yangu, Makayam. Now watch this. Nairobi, Kenyan. No J in the alphabet. When you say Yan or John, Yan. Jonah, Yona. Isaiah, Isaiah. I mean, come on, man. Look for yourself. We just do scholarship, man. We connect dots. We're not here under no religious dogma. We're not here under no religious dogma, man. We're here to teach and to get on the same level and navigate. Because that's what Moors are. We're navigators. We were all over this continent under no religious dogma. We were Muslims. Moslem. Let me show you something. Did I highlight it? I don't know if I highlighted it because I was reading in one of my books the history of the reign of Ferdinand and Isabella, and it talks about then the Moorish Empire, that there were Muslims. I have to get back in it because, man, I'm so far in it. I don't even know. Okay, I think I found it. Yep. By the middle of the 15th century, the number of states into which the country had been divided was reduced to 4. Castile, Aragon, Aragon, Navarre or Navarre, Navaree. Listen to this, family. And the Moorish kingdom of Granada. The last comprised within nearly the same limits as the modern province of the name was all that remained to the Muslims, Moslems, of their once vast possessions in their peninsula. I'm telling you, this is, and a lot of these books are not going to be available, family. And so, like I say, we're navigators. We're not under no religious dogma. So, The Divine Warning by the Noble Drew Ali, January 15th, 1929. The Prophet warned all Muslims. Nowhere it says Muslims, nowhere, family. If you follow my page, the Triple Roll, the Dap Chamber, I tell you, I crossed the 3 aspects. The Fatimid right, the Jerusalem right, and the Christian right. It's just flat out, man. Nobody don't want to do that to you because they want to stranglehold on to you. But that's not what we're here to do. If we are so-called sheiks and teachers, we're supposed to teach from no religious dogma. I hereby inform all members that they must end all racial agitating speeches while at work or in the streets. So when you see Moors out in the streets or so-called Hebrew Israelites on the corner arguing with Europeans and stuff, that's a violation. Even in the scriptures, it tell you don't debate with your brethren. We're supposed to be uplifting fallen humanity. We're not out here arguing. You see? And I'm not talking about a particular individual or a particular set or a particular group. I'm just talking about us as a whole. We're supposed to be here to uplift brothers and sisters in scholarship, not to be everybody looking at us like we're clowns and we're caricatures, just arguing with each other. I see brothers and sisters just arguing with each other. It looks so idiotic. It looks just stupid and comical. And that's not what we're here for. But we are for peace and not destruction. It also tells us to stop flashing your cars at Europeans because it causes confusion. Remember, your car is for your salvation. It's for your salvation. I keep telling brothers and sisters, that's not no get out of jail free card. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, I have some friends that's, on their reserve tribe. We went to Walmart. They tried to use their tribe ID. They wouldn't let them use it. Flat out. They tried to buy alcohol. They wouldn't let them use it. All they had is their tribe ID. Now, I'm not saying they can't use the other places, but what I'm saying is that is for your salvation. That's for the right time. That's navigation, man. We are part of a group. It's a whole nother level to go. We are peaceful people. This is not no illegal thing. That's what I have to tell brothers. We are noble men, spiritual beings, spiritual vessels. But failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and my end, health and wealth. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Ashe. Come on, man. You should be saying Ashe. I'm going to say this. Yeah, you know what? I'm not even going. I'm gonna finish this prayer. I'm gonna finish this prayer before I get into this message, because my buddy hit me up like, show the papers so we can know exactly, for it won't be no confusion. I got like 3 phones right here, and my brother and one of my more friends, he like, man, it's just amazing that brothers be out in the street saying they're Moors and you don't see them with their feds on. They don't be Moors and they talking prejudice stuff. You have to know they don't study. So I'm about to show you something. The noble decree on our paperwork, but we can just stop getting into these lies and people trying to get you under their religious dogma, telling you what the Moorish science is and what it's not. Don't get mad at because the Europeans took your craft and mastered it. That's just like somebody took your playbook and mastered your playbook and you've been losing all the time and threw it back to you and told you it wasn't no good. That's what the European Masons did. They took your science and threw it back at you. They stole your playbook and told you it's spookism and mastered the playbook. You see? And that's why I see brothers, they be talking about masonry and this. I said, man, this is our craft. This is Egyptian craft. This is 99th primitive rite of Memphis and Mizraim. So they just took the playbook and mastered the playbook and threw it back into you as spookism. And I say, abracadabra, hocus pocus. You see they wear your feather with all the science on it, Allah, Mecca, Islam. There's no reason to argue. There's no reason to argue with a European convert Jewish person. There's no reason to argue. The history books tell you. That's why I've been telling brothers, we come in love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, health, wealth. If you a scholar, like brothers say, if you a philosopher, if you a master navigator, if you a Moor, if you're a part of a temple, you should know this science, because this is what you should be going over in the temple. And when I be talking to Moors and they don't know history, and I say, you part of a temple, and you say you know civics and history and all law, I say, brother, I really can't tell, because if you did, you would not be arguing with anyone, because the Jewish encyclopedias tell you who Edomite is in Edom. It tells you why you shouldn't call a Hebrew Israelite a Jew. It tells you everything. It tells you what anti-Semitism is some made-up thing. You don't have to listen to me. This is the stuff that I did on college campuses with all academia, and I get standing ovations. So I'm not here to convert no one. So let's get back into this teaching of what we Moors are, so we can eliminate this spookism, this lies, and this religious dogma, and people trying to tell you Moors are Muslims under some Arabism, or Moors are Christian under some Europeanism. Moors are master navigators, adapts. We study all law. I just gave it to you. We honor and respect all the law and the prophets. Allah, Muhammad, Yeshua, Buddha, Confucius. But we, the supreme grand body and the grand council of the Moorish Science Temple of America, grant sovereign powers by the great God, Allah, and his illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And another thing, when brothers be talking about they some sovereign citizen, you a fool. Ain't no one single person sovereign. That's not nation, man. Sovereign nation, togetherness. Just like I'll show you in the scriptures when they talk about Jew and Jewish. We have to know certain things, man. It's just scholarship, and we eliminate all spookism, and we navigate totally 720. But greetings to whom this may concern, by the powers of this great charter, or warrant and dispensation, this supreme grand body bestow a title of nobility to member Kari Hakim Goodman Bey, that is descended from the royal house of Judah and the house of David. I mean, I know you heard that, family, my brothers, my sisters, that's Moors. By the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, agents of the Christian Church, which is the Vatican, or any other corporations in the Roman Curia, that means that organization or that sect, can't molest, trespass, or violate our divine rights granted by the great God Allah. By the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, to register all nobles of the house of El to their title of nobility, pursuant Leviticus 25 and 10. And see, family, this is something that I always challenge my brothers and sisters when we go back to history. We would jump on a bandwagon when somebody being a suit in a different color. And then when brothers start illuminating history and showing our great figures that was hidden, the first thing we do is diss them. That's the first thing Negroes do. That's the first thing we do. Because somebody hidden things from you and took your science, and when you see figures in history that was with all the scholars back then, you see Noble Drew Ali was with Marcus Garvey. When Marcus Garvey went to jail, Noble Drew Ali was writing him in jail. This stuff is documented. Noble Drew Ali just wasn't no person that was just talking stuff. This man studied. He had degrees. He went through all levels of spirituality, man. Y'all got to understand this. But by the powers of the decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali to register all nobles of the house of El to their nobility of pursuant Leviticus 25 and 10. Read that. The powers of this decree is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali, pursuant to our authority, all Moorish Americans. All Moorish Americans. All Moorish Americans. There's some more talk about not American, talk about they finna go somewhere and give up their nationality to the United States, they going to jail. I promise you. You a stateless person. Anybody telling you to do that, they a fool. You at home. I just told you a Moorish American are exempt from prosecution except for murder or rape. And you got to understand what I'm saying. You just ain't walking around like you against some law or you a lawless person. When I do the adapt lessons, we are law-abiding citizens. So you shouldn't be doing nothing. That's what they're saying. You shouldn't be doing not a thing. So when somebody telling you you're not American, man, they don't know history. They don't know the maps. You can look basically in the King James Version map that the Christians love to read and look on the land masses and where it's at. It's only talking about a specific area. That's the continent of Africa. At one point, it was just Ethiopia, north and south. I mean, come on, you want to call it a Meximum, a Kibalan? Okay, you got to go back to the old and keep going back and tracing yourself down the Nile. Man, the Nile went everywhere, man. We the copper-colored races. It's too simple. But by the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, to register all nobles of the house of Bey to their title of nobility, pursuant Leviticus 25 and 10. That's scripture. By the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Americans are of the royal house of Judah, descendants of King David. I told you I connected the dots when I showed you Haile Selassie. I am I, the King of Kings. Will we connect ourselves to, family? We got to get into the science. We can go all the way back in history, but if you look at history, and you look who Haile Selassie was, and all the presidents, all the Europeans, they went and bowed down to the King of Kings, the lineage of David, and what he tried to do for Ethiopia, sent them brothers to the States to get education and come back as engineers and craftsmen and clean up their state. And then you have brothers discrediting the man, the king, that went and fought in the war and came back and ruled. Hold on, let me show you. See, we get into scholarship here, man. I tell you, man, we have to research and connect the dots. We have to connect the dots, family. We have to. We have to connect the dots. That's what we're here for. This is scholarship. We're not here to be proven unknown. I'm here to prove that we are all in history, all in the books. That's what this is about. And when somebody belittling it because they're coming from a perspective, and I'm not. I'm a Moor. I'm a master navigator. I mean, so you got to know certain things, man, and look at the Moors, they paperwork, and say, okay, and see how they operate and seeing they honest coming in peace. I, Khari Goodman Bey, do solemnly affirm in presence of Almighty God that I will hereforth faithfully support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Union of the States thereunder, and that I will, in like manner, abide by and faithfully support all acts of Congress passed during the existing rebellion with reference to slaves, so long as not repealed, modified, or held void by Congress or by decision of the Supreme Court, and that I will, like in manner, abide by and faithfully support all proclamations of the President made during the existing rebellion having reference to slaves, so far as not modified or declared void by decision of the Supreme Court. So help me God. We the people, family. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourself, and our prosperity, do ordain and establish this Constitution to the United States of America. Come on, man. Y'all better get deep into this, man. We are Americans. You right at home. You let some unlearned more tell you you're not an American. You own your land. You are a native. I'm telling you, family. More, it's a lot of spookism going on. Telling you, oh, you know how to give up your citizenship. You give up your citizenship in the United States, you are a stateless person. No state accepted you. You are a stateless person. That's spookism. They telling you to drive without license. See if they drive without license. Why would you want to drive without license? I mean, it's just certain things that you should be using your hippocampus to navigate, man. We are law-abiding citizens, man. We don't do nothing outside the parameters of the law. When I say when you master your higher self, do you know how to navigate on this earth plane? By knowing the law, by knowing all law, by knowing your rights, and you don't be molested. That's alchemy. That's the goal. That's why I say in the court of law, not knowing law is not an excuse, family. One that possessed this baptism certificate has been redeemed by illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali and delivered by and fee, simple, absolute deed that restore all rights and property. Said person has been revoked from the state Peter's Trust and the Magna Carta Christian enrollment that held my person in bondage. I am a Muslim of the West, a descendant of Moroccans, and born in America, We, the Supreme Grand Body, bestow privileges and benefits and grant dispensation of said person by the birthright and original inhabitant of North and Southwest shores of Mexico. Come on, man. We got to stop playing, man. I mean, I can go on and on. I can go on and read all of my paperwork. Just as when I say we are law-abiding citizens, man. Holy Quran, Circle 7. Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. Fee, simple, absolute, by Medes and bounds. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Mexico, the first true and divine name of Africa. You heard that, didn't you? Okay. The dividing of the land between the father and the son, the dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in the inhabited northwest Africa. They were founders and they are true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. I didn't say Turks. Remember that. With their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and the inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across Great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands. That's where you see the big heads, the Olmec heads. When I say we, Mexico, but that's a whole nother lecture. When I talk about 1492, 1493, see, it's so much stuff to connect. Before the great earthquake, which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. I mean, I can go on and on, but, I'm just, just want to show some things that when brothers be saying they Moors and they not talking in peace and love, I'll be like, okay, are you? Why are you just saying stuff? certification of enrollment, National Bureau of Vital Status, in accordance with the true policies of Noble Drew Ali and President Abraham Lincoln, and Andrew Johnson. This document exists as a certification that the individual indicated below has taken the subscribe an oath of amnesty and reconstruction, affirmation of the Emancipation Proclamation with alliance to the Republic Constitution of the United States of America, including the 13th Amendment with 20 sections and the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. This individual has also proclaimed a free national name, race, nationality, and religion as follows. Title, Noble K. Goodman Bey. Race, Asiatic. My birth date, whatever. My proclamation date. My location of proclamation was Chicago, Illinois. My nationality, Moorish American. My birthplace, whatever it is, my religion. Old time Islamism. Ism, just like Hebrewism. The free national name Bey must be annexed as a suffix. When I tell brothers, you don't erase nothing off your name. You don't have a slave name. You may have a government name, but you don't have a slave name. Don't let nobody tell you that. That's your nobility. When I tell brothers about the coat of arms, when I research the Ancient and Modern Britain, Volume 2, these are just things that I want brothers and sisters to know. We are the copper-colored races. Your black skin means nothing. That means nothing that you have more melanin than nobody. That means nothing. Means nothing. But where was I at? And the nations, etc. Whatever. ECT. Upon the implementation of Section 16 and 17 of the 13th Amendment with 20 sections of the U.S. Constitution, the individual will receive a full paramount ancestral name. Assistance through the Freedmen's Bureau Act of 1865 and protections guaranteed under federal mandate through the United States government. Hey, I'm just showing, like, when brothers be saying they Moors and they be all angry and upset, and I say they can't be Moors. They can't be master teachers. Not how they talking. We come in peace. We study all law. Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. Beneficiary conditions of fee, simple, absolute, vast estate and trust. Just things that I just want to share with brothers and sisters before we can get it correct. When we say we are Moors and things. Like I said, I have nothing to hide with my brothers and sisters. And that's the thing. When brothers say, I got to take you through the adapt chamber. They don't know what it is. They don't. They just talking. I promise you. This is a way of life. This ain't nothing you can just read and get and say, boom, I done went through some adapt chamber. Like when I read books and research and people say, I can read this book. That ain't it. These books are old. You have to have application. It comes from within. And once you change within, then things manifest. Then things gravitate to you. A brother hit me up and he was like, man, I can care less about the truth. I'm tired of being broke. F the truth. And I said, brother, Shalom Malakim. Bless you and your family. And I bless you on your journey. Because if that's what you're looking for, something outside of yourself, you already lost. Because you're looking at someone else, tangible possessions as success. And that's what I tell people. You have to find things within. And once you master yourself within, you figure out what your purpose is on this earth plane. Oh yeah, but the House of Bey, the title of nobility, 720, Moorish American Muslim. Come on, man. I don't have nothing to hide from my family, from my brothers and sisters. 720, dispensation. We supreme grand body and council of the Moorish Science Temple of America, deriving its power and authority from great God Allah and his prophet Noble Drew Ali, whom Allah has sent to redeem his people, the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America. Read the 1828 dictionary, the copper-colored races, the Europeans found here in America. Y'all better stop tripping. The said Supreme Grand Body and the Council is authorized and empowered to initiate and confer degrees of said temple upon any person or persons duly proposed, qualified, and approved in accordance with the established forms, usage of the laws, and edicts of the illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America. Its jurisdiction to administer to all true members, all privileges and benefits to all Muslims of the West, Noble K. Goodman Bey, which is my name is Kari. 720 degrees is hereby granted dispensation of said death as here to the vast estate express trust of Prophet Noble Drew Ali in dominion of Kush, north, east, and south, East Africa, and north, east, west, southwest was his father's domain of Africa. Old man Kush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan, pursuing to U.S. Department of Justice, BM HR 1WD 14435-0 agreement. I mean, I'm just saying, family, we come in peace. I don't have nothing to hide from my brothers and sisters. I'm trying to build, and we build schools. Like I said, I had a temple in Arizona for myself teaching metaphysics, and now I'm going to try to do it again and do it the right way. That's why I'm just happy people that's just viewing, for we can eliminate all spookism and do some real scholarly peer-reviewed research and history, for we connect dots and build bridges. We don't do nothing in Palestine, family. That's European masonry. This is our birthright and our nationality. So if that's the case, why are Moors acting like it's some secret? Why when you ask Moor things and you want to be a Moor, they act like it's some secret society? That's European Palestine masonry. This is supposed to be your birthright and your nationality. And brothers that's to call themselves sheiks and master teachers supposed to love to teach it. It's supposed to come out your loins. You're supposed to breathe this. Because this is our life. 720. Allah, my Allah, may Allah, my Allah blessings and protections always be upon House of Bey, title of nobility, certificate, Noble K. Goodman Bey, registry of the Noble House of Bey, a descendant of the royal house of Judah. I keep telling y'all, man. I keep telling y'all. We come in love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, health, and wealth. You see our coat of arms, and that's what's going to be on a lot of the shirts and things I made. That's our coat of arms right there, family. I'm telling you, I'm going to show you so much. I'm going to keep going. If it stops, you know, come back on, because I'm going to give you that American history in black and white. I'm going to touch a little bit of it. But I'm going to keep giving this, for we can know. This is the last page. Allah, Adapt Chamber, 720. When I talk about that Adapt Chamber, family, I'm telling you. When I talk about the chants, when people be saying it, all in there. This is what we do, man. I'm a teacher. But Muslim missionary decrees, certificate, Allah, Adapt Chamber, 720, Supreme Grand Body and Supreme Grand Council of Moorish Science Temple of America in Mecca have been vested with sovereign powers by the great God Allah and his illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali to confer degrees of Muslim of the West to a person or persons that has been raised 180 degrees from a shadow grave, son of a widow in the North Gate. I, Noble K. Goodman Bey, my obligation as a Muslim, I ain't say no Muslim, missionary by free will, the obligation of the nobility of the elect of the Moorish Science Temple of America, teaching the Asiatic of North, South, and Central America to love instead of hate. As I travel the burning sands from east to the west in 39 celestial steps, with my staff of comfort, my companion, the beast of burden, and my Hebrew masters, logo of perfection. Brothers and sisters, when I connect the dots, you have to listen and this is not me. When I give you the silent brotherhood of the East, when I tell you the circle and the seven is the logos, the Hebrew God, when I show you in the Hebrew alphabet, the YHWH is there. You don't have to listen to me. Do research. Yeah, we had our scholars, and I see people posting memes with Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark saying this and that. It wasn't Hebrew this, and it wasn't this and that and the other. And I say, well, I understand, but that's why Noble Drew Ali told us, if I can get you to think, you can save yourself. Do more research. We connect the dots. I showed you in the Egyptian alphabet yesterday. It's there. And if that's not the case, okay, throw all that out. We say we're Muslim. We say we're Moors. And if this is what it says we believe in, what are we arguing about? You see, when we talk about the pantheon of gods, and you always see that he give respect to Yahweh, when he give respect to the logos. When I gave you Hayah yesterday is the palindrome word. We got to connect the dots, man. We have to connect the dots. We got to stop playing. So I don't know what nobody be talking about. But my Hebrew masters, logos of perfection, I do here upon my holy Quran, the circle 7, demonstrate my degrees to raise fallen humanity. from its imperfection with the degrees of social duties, justice, charity, gratitude, sincerity. That's what my life about. That's what my life about. If you see what I do every day in my life, that's what my life is all about. I do charity, I do lectures, I do free things with the kids. I do swimming class, I do CPR. This is a real life. I'm trying to build this school here to teach economics, to teach gardening, to teach science, to teach biology, to teach history, to show kids how to read, to do real mathematics, to show them how to open up real non-for-profits and check for balances. And when these kids graduate out of high school, they'll have an established non-for-profit. And their tax ID, they'll have their own established business credit. See, that's what this science about. This not about no spookism, man. I'm not here to tell nobody what they can and can't do. I know what I can do. I know what I've been doing. So that's all that matters to me. And if you go on my page, man, I do lectures at the college campuses. I done a lecture out here in Arizona at Estrella Community College. It was packed with students when I talked about establishing a nonprofit business and establishing their 501c3. Told them it's a different from C3 and C10. Showed them how to do it, and said the sooner you know this, you can establish business credit. I show high school kids, I show elementary kids how to do this, and they're doing it now. Their families are doing it, establishing businesses. It just is what it is. What else I say? Okay, I said all that. Okay, freedom and justice, and I shall not give ear. Okay, and gratitude. In my travels, Allah, which is all law, arm, leg, arm, head. Guide my feet in love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and I shall not give ear to falsehood, hypocrisy, and deceit. As I travel the burning sands, I possess my charter of warrant and dispensation, my authority to pass through all ports, unmolested with my divine rights and privileges. All sons of a Muslim must hold true to his obligation to noble Muslims and to Muhammadan by words and deeds. This is the ending thing for us Moors when we just on Facebook doing things. We supposed to be nationalizing, man. This is your right. These are things that we supposed to do. I love all the temples. I'm not here to talk about no temple. But if temples are not right, then you don't supposed to be in it. Just like in a relationship, just like in anything, just like a job. If it's not right, we don't be in it. If you do, who the fool? If you are more and you're not understanding this and you're not getting science and history and civics and and how to eat, when I showed you that the more diet is the Hebrew diet, I connect the dots so many times. Come on, man. Like I said, if it cut off, I'm gonna just join right back on and I'm gonna highlight this history. But before I start off, I already got to set the prayer in the atmosphere. Always have to. I already said our Moorish prayer, but I like to give this benediction. May the benison of Allah, which is all law, be upon you and your family always, as we all should strive to be a credit to Allah, which is all law. Make haste to bestow thy acts of love upon all our brothers and sisters, and do so to shun all evil acts and all evil ones. Remember, family, we should take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that I, might nourish the souls of all men and all women. Let the truth be our shield in the manifest battles of falsehood. Know that man nor woman need to pick the lock, excuse me, family, to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, the key of salvation already rests within your own hands, family. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, inconsistency, there is still a greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah, which is all law, may Yahweh, YHWH, protect us, protect you, protect our family. guide us and preserve us, and lengthen our age, and give us everlasting peace. Ashe, family. So let's get into a little history, man, because I don't know what people and what some brothers be talking about. And I say we don't have to go outside of ourselves for history and wisdom. We must share everything. So that just was a little bit of this Moorish history. Brothers and sisters, if you see any more and they're not talking righteously, ask them what the Circle 7 Quran all about. Because I still do not see Moors reading the Circle 7 Quran. You're supposed to go. I asked Moore what the 101s and the 102s. He hit me back and said, what's the 101 and the 102s? And he's a part of a temple. I said, Mo. This is the book that the prophet gathered and compiled. I have to go over things over and over to let this stick in our brain. Brothers, have you opened this up and read this? If you have, you better tell me what it's about. Please, Moors. Moors be dressed up and saying this, and I see them saying, portraying religious dogma. And I say, well, Moors, if you were Moor, what is this Circle 7 Quran all about? I ask them. They be like, what you mean? It's written in code. I'll be laughing. That's why I kick brothers out of my temple. I had to. We're not in there for spookism. We're not criminals. We share this with our family and our wives. Brothers was not even reading the Circle 7 Quran. Brother was in there just talking spookism. One brother was talking about it's blood and plasma TVs. One brother was talking about John Kerry dead. Like, man, that ain't what this about. Bringing up a whole bunch of old documents, trying to get brothers to fill that crap out and turn it into the government, and your book will get audited. I'm telling you, man, that's spookism, and they're not attorneys. Why they're not doing it? I promise you, man, this is not what this science is about. It's only one thing that hold up in court of law, and that's the law of indigenous people, law and policy. And if you're whoever they want to call themselves doesn't understand the law and have a real person that understands law, man, all them old documents, man, they'll change that on you like water. I promise you. So I'll be asking brother, what's the Circle 7 Quran about? I asked him the other day. He said he's going to get back with me. It's been 5 days. It's been 5 days. And I don't have to say nobody's name. He still ain't got back with me. I say, brother, if you ain't read this, man, and you reading all other books from somebody else, and you say you a Moor, how can you say you a Moor? Just like when I tell Christians, and I say, how can you say you a follower of Yeshua, and you call yourself a Christian? You can't be reading that book, because in that book, he don't say he no Christian. He say they follower of the Nazarenes, the pestilent one, Acts 24:5. They're Nazarenes. So that's why I be laughing. I say, brothers, don't be reading the books. You got to open this book up and read it. I'm not even going to go over it again. But the Moors, I mean, y'all know hit me up. Read this book. If you got it, tell me what it's about. I lectured over the whole book. I had Moors like, well, that ain't in there. And I said, and then when they open it up, they made themselves look so stupid because they never read it. Most brothers be getting books, never read it. They say, do you read every book you have in your library? I said, absolutely. I said, this ain't no game with me, man. Like, what you think this a joke? Brothers don't read this Circle 7 Quran. So Moors, you say you Moors, what this Circle 7 Quran about? Talk to me. One Moor said, oh, it's written in code, man. I can't decipher it like you. Man, I spit my juice out. I spit my juice out. This what you're supposed to be going over in the temples. We're supposed to be going over this. Connecting the dots. All right, so that's done. So it's supposed to be Black History Month. And when I tell Moors, we can go all the way deep, old history, or we can get current. When I show you in history that we were everywhere, everywhere. So I'm going to touch on setting the record straight. I'm going to touch on a little facts in the book. I did a lecture on this at the university, and I'm going to upload it on my YouTube page. So family, please go on my YouTube page. Please try to make it go up, man, because I'm trying to really, really spread this, man, and really create a school. I mean, we see all other Europeans and nationalities creating schools and charter schools for our children. I have the same degrees they have, family. I have a real organization just like they do. I mean, my business is my nonprofit. I'm certified. Education, spirituality, religious, scientific, charitable. I mean, I'm trying to do the same thing to teach real history, teach science, and and teach the children something. Real history that can be researched. So I'm going to touch on this history right here. It's Setting the Record Straight, American History in Black and White by David Barton. And I lectured on this on the college campus, and one of the girls was like, "You did this lecture?" And she was like, "Nah," and this was before Alan Beck even did the lecture on TV. And she was like, "It's amazing that you cover these subjects and we gravitate to others outside ourselves that do the same thing that you gravitate to." And I say, well, you know, it is what it is. That's why I'm happy to be on the college campus and be able to share history with students that want to learn, you know. And when I do lectures, I have to repeat it. I don't have none of my so-called Moors or none of my so-called African American or Hotep, nobody be there. It'd be all different nationalities, and it'd be packed. It'd be packed, I promise you. So, whatever. But African Americans originally came to America unwillingly, having stolen and sold by Muslim slave catchers after the Dutch traders journeying in America in 1619. Yet they have withstood the dark beginnings to become the fiber in the fabric of American society. And when I talk about things, family, you can't get mad, because I'm going to do a whole lecture on the Arab slave trade. I mean, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. So we connect dots, man. We're not here to be mad at nothing. This history that we can know for sure, so you can know who you are. Then you can worry about the other stuff. As President Wilson Howard Taft admirably noticed, their ancestors came here years against their will, and now this is their only country and their only flag. They have shown themselves anxious to live for it and to die for it. So I'm gonna let me get into the good part of it. Okay, the story of American blah, 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 blah. The story of African Americans is not unlike that of God's chosen people, the Jews, and this is what it says. Originally proposing in their homeland, they were taken to a foreign land where the centuries they lived in slavery until so-called God delivered them and established them in a new land, blah, blah, blah. James A. Garfield, America's 20th president, personally witnessed the final chapter in the deliverance of African Americans from slavery in America. He fought to abolish slavery as a Union general during the Civil War, and afterwards, as a member of Congress, voted the abolition of slavery and led in the passage of almost 24 civil rights bills. But we finna get to the good part. Now, look at the picture of these brothers. Look at the picture of these brothers, because we finna dig. If it cut off, log back on, because this history. The 4-center long story of African American political history truly is an incredible story. But much of early history is now unknown. That is why most today know about the last 50 years, right? Yeah, Reverend Martin Luther King, W.E.B. Du Bois, Malcolm X. Yeah, we know about that. But few know much about their extraordinary heroes from the first 3.5 centuries of history. For example, family, and I'm just quoting from the lecture I did, who today knows the amazing story of Reverend Hiram Rhodes, Hiram Rhodes reveals, Revels, the first black U.S. senator, or that Joseph Hayne, Hayne, Rainey, Rainey, who overcame slavery to become the first African American elected to the U.S. Congress and to serve as Speaker of the House, of the U.S. House, or of John Rock, the first African American admitted to the U.S. Supreme Court bar. The reintroduction of this history is long overdue. And speaking of these accomplishments, families, President John F. Kennedy once observed, "I am certain that it was no easy task to compress into a single volume the American Negro century-long struggle to win the full promise of our Constitution and Bill of Rights. Such was the case with the work. Indeed it was not easy task to compress into a single volume the stories of so many notable heroes, but he tried, per se. Now, let's get into setting the record straight. I'm going to show you some pictures. As I read, I'm going to show you the pictures first. Look at them pictures. Get them in your brain. We're going to teach, man. And I want you to research African American history. So much of it is truly unknown today. Let me get some libations. Because it's supposed to be Black History Month, right? Okay. For example, few knew of James Amistad, a Black patriot and spy who helped make possible the 1781 Yorktown victory during the American Revolution. Oh, I got my 1776 book down there, but I'll keep going. The Yorktown made it possible that the 1781 Yorktown victory during the American Revolution that established America as an independent nation. Or Peter Salmon, a Black patriot who was a hero of the 1775 Battle of Bunker Hill. He also fought as one of the legendary Minutemen, and was a soldier at the battles of Saratoga and Stony Point. In fact, a monument was erected to his memory in Massachusetts to commemorate his life and deeds. And in the famous picture of the 1776 crossing, hold on, family. Hold on. See, this stuff I did on college campus when I use all their books to prove the facts. In the 1776, you can open this, the big picture. That's why they put a lot of books in black and white, for you can't see the colors. But you can. It's real simple. This 1776, I can, so it's going to go off. I got 26 seconds left, so I'm glad to start right there. So log back on, man. We're going to log right back on and continue this message. So we're going to start right there. So log back on, and we'll be back. Shalom.